Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
On July 4th, 1962, I found myself in the lost and found of mankind. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that it wants to be there. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that the person who lost it doesn't care for that lost item.
You are writing moments that people will learn from, grow from, and heal through for thousands of years. Together, we are co-authoring a unique moment in time. That DNA, those fingerprints, they're going to be gone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But it is your story that they will tell for thousands of years. But only if you leave it. Things that do not serve you must go. The longer you wait, the more time you give them to trick you into serving them. 22 homes in foster care, everything I wore as a scar, as a shame, things that started like Velcro on my spirit. After just a few months, then years, then decades, I had believed myself into believing that they were indelible tattoos. Sometimes we have to be broken down to appreciate the view once we start getting up. I want you to leave this place and know that you have been changed. Why? How do I know it's true? Because each of you has just changed me. Shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you walk right past good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. That didn't work out. From the top. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Can you imagine what my poor mother dealt with? Right. I love my ADHD. It's my superpower. It is. Good morning. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Gonna start off. Guess what I have? You may have seen my post where Saturday I used my juicer from last Christmas, because once we start getting close to when you start leaving hints about what you want for Christmas, you have to make sure that they see you using your big gift from the year before or wearing it or whatever, right? So that's what I did. Yes, there was a little ulterior motive, but I just put my heart into it. Okay, good morning. Celery juice. Celery juice, me, you, what's missing? Nothing. A promise has been invoked right now. And what is it? It means that when two or more of us, we come together, we have that heart set, that mindset. It's just a spirit of togetherness where we agree that when one wins, we all win, and we are all looking for ways to ease some form of suffering in this world today. Right? Right? Can I get an amen? I'll kick it off. There you go. Listen, welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Dr. Lauren. Real quick, because I have a great guest for you waiting in the green room for you today. And we're going to talk about a lot, dreaming, traveling, and some other things. But real quick, you guys know I just had my 7th anniversary. Look, there's our cake, right? Okay, they left it in, so my ADHD pulled it in. So I'm going to get rid of it. Look, there's our invitation. See, you guys get this stuff out of here. I'm sentimental. So what I really want to tell you guys is this. I love E360. Been here all these years, almost 10 years. And the shows will start its 9th year. 50 straight weeks on January 5th, God willing, I'm still here. And guess what? Trajectory TV, my network, is in it officially yesterday, year number 2 out of the way. We are inside year number 3, and we are looking for those of you out there who feel you want to take your podcast, your message, the message in you, the message that is dying to get out of you, to the world via television. OTT stands for over-the-top television, and we are looking for you. So we have some limited opportunities. We can only work with so many people in a calendar year, and we're trying to get that lineup together now. So if you're interested, hit me up, let me know, and I'll tell you how it works. You might be surprised how easy peasy it is. Okay, so who do we have here today? Who indeed? Oh, Karen Yates. Oh, our number today, we're trying to beat a week ago today. Both of my two of my 3 angel numbers are in there. 1111 and 22. So 1122 is the number today. It's a sacred number. Tell a friend, share out the broadcast, and we can easily get over. Here, let me give you a little reminder. There you go. All you got to do is bless in the manner in which you want to be blessed. Just like we're about to be blessed by the incomparable Karen Yates. She fancies herself a disruptor. So I hope everything's tied down, because she's going to shake things up today, right? And that's the bell of purpose. You notice I ring it when there's some truth on the table. Why? It's a reminder, not a gimmick, not a prop. It is a literal reminder and a real thing. Look, it's a real thing. It is a reminder because just like that bell, you guessed it, the truth, it has a ring to it. I don't want you to forget that, right? Staying within the 4 agreements, all things principled. Can I get a name, man? I will do it again. Okay, there we go. So listen, she's currently in Bali, been there, I think she said 4 days, and her husband and 2 children, a boy and a girl, they live a nomadic lifestyle, traveling around, learning and pouring into people, being poured into, and she's bringing some of that magic in today. So without further ado, she's a first timer, so that means, she might be a little nervous. I doubt it, though, because she's the ultimate pro. But here she comes. Put some hearts on the screen, won't you, please? It's our virtual way of saying welcome as Karen Yates makes her way to the stage. Here she comes. Oh, how are you? I was on the phone. You just showed up. There was somebody from my team missing.
It's 10 minutes after. I'm like, as soon as I got ready to hit the panic button, they showed up. Good morning, MD. I see you here. Thank you so much, my friend. Welcome, Karen. How are you?
I am wonderful. I'm so excited to be here on the show with you, sharing with all your wonderful people out there.
Awesome. Well, we're glad you're here. Now, listen, before we get all into the nitty gritty of stuff, I like to do a little thing where I just run out the room and leave the stage to you for about 60 seconds so that you can pretty much, just start things off by pouring from your spirit today. What you wake up with on your heart today. And just say hello, fill in the blanks. I don't really read much of the bio because I'd rather you tell them than I. And so I'm going to go. Take all the way up to 60 if you want. I'll come back in at that point and we'll get officially started. Sound good?
All right.
All right. All you, Karen Yates, take it away.
All right. So Karen Yates calling in from Antigua, Guatemala. As Lauren mentioned, I am a world traveler with my husband and 2 kids. But taking you back a few years, 5 years ago, I was not in a good place. My marriage was at an all-time low. Our finances were terrible. We were in just a really awful place. And we decided we had to do something different. It was either split or change up our lives. We opted to stay together, work through it. What ended after lots and lots of conversation was we decided that we needed to change up our life, to stop going through the American grind and do something different, something that would light us up inside, something that would make us excited for the day and allow us to spend more time with each other and our kids. So we decided to travel full time. I can't hear you. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, you know why? Because I was pouring coffee, which is cold, kind of, not cold, tepid. Somebody's gonna have to warm it up. So when you pour it from this into here and you can't see me, one time a lady said, "Are you peeing?" I was like, no. Well, kind of. I'm kidding. Not really. So listen, you guys, 898. Share it out, everybody. I'm going to put it back on for a minute. Let's go ahead and beat the record and get it out of the way, right? Let's double it. 898. Let's go up. Let's go. Share it out. So listen, you told me this morning before we got in here that you've only been in Guatemala. How do you say? How do you say it?
Guatemala.
Say Guatemala. From 4 days ago, right? You got there 4 days ago.
Yes.
From where? Pray tell.
We were in England previously.
Yeah, old England.
Yes.
So do you change your voice to match all the places you go?
No, but I do try to use an accent that folks can understand me a little better. So, you don't eat a tortilla, you eat a tortilla.
Tortilla. A tortilla?
No.
I remember one time I lived in Arizona and my birth mom, hi mom, heavenly mom, Lucille, she came to visit and I was leaving to go do something. And I said, well, the housekeeper's here, Rose. I'm going to write a note because she can read English, but she doesn't really speak it. And mom goes, oh, what do you want me to tell her? I speak Spanish. I was like, you do? I didn't know this because, I hadn't known her for long, my birth mom. And anyway, I happened to come back in and I said, well, just tell her we don't need her next week because we'll be gone. So I go back in and my mom's like, come next week. I said, are you kidding me? Did you really just do that? So that's what you mean when you say you speak Spanish. So anyway, hey, we beat it. 11:22. Where's my camera? We're at 12:26. Yay, you guys are awesome. You guys are, the blessings are going to flow. Smile, everybody. Yay, that's out of the way. So let's get to it. So, okay, first of all, you were in England for how long?
Almost 3 months.
And then where were you before that?
We were in the States for 3 weeks. And before that, we were in Mexico for 3 months.
Do you ever stay anywhere longer than 90 days?
Not typically. We like to say we slow travel, which we do. We don't, we're not in a race to visit as many countries as we can as quick as possible. That's not our purpose. That's not our desire. But most visas for countries are about 90 days. So typically that's our length of stay.
Now, you can work while you're there?
Absolutely. I work online, remote job.
Okay. So you have a regular job?
I do.
That you work for the same people all the time, no matter where you're at in the world?
Yes.
And your husband, same thing for him?
He does a lot of entrepreneurial things, does some stock trading, and keeps us.
Oh,
He's the planner. He
I want to talk to him right after the show. Thank you very much. What about the kids? So you homeschool?
Yes, our son is now 17. We've been on the road 5 years. So he started when he was 12. We homeschooled. He's pretty much transitioned out of formal education now, really just doing learning on his own, things that he's interested in, which his passion is computer programming. I don't know where he got that from. Certainly not from me, not from my husband, but that's his love and joy. So he's a self-taught computer programmer doing all kinds of interesting things. And then our daughter is now 12, and she definitely has much more of a structured education, although it's a lot different than a standard classroom, as you can
Well, I
imagine.
would imagine, because she's inside the lesson most of the
Yes,
time.
absolutely.
An immersive experience.
Mhm.
So when do you think she will officially have graduated? You know what I'm saying? Like finished regular school before higher education. At what age do you think she'll be done with that?
I'm pushing for 14. It might be 15.
So she could start college at 15?
If she decided to, yes.
I saw a young lady who was 17 years old and she had just gotten her PhD.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible?
Yes.
She has a PhD at 17 years old. Macaulay Culkin at 62 and black. I'm just so wow. So let's go to it. We heard what you said. I've read what you said about how it was not so long ago. Pretty cloudy existence. A lot of dark clouds and whatnot. And then you guys came together and you decided to change something. What was it? Can you put your finger? Was it one thing? Was it 5 things? Was it everything? What was it?
It was a lot of everything, to be real. But when we started getting into the nitty gritty and really talking and connecting again on that level that we'd kind of gotten lost in after we had kids and you're working, you just get stuck in this routine. We kind of got lost. We lost that connection with each other. So we started connecting again. And we said, you know what? The one thing that we really need to really get back to where we want to be is to spend more time together. And how do we do that within the confines of jobs? You can't do that. I worked as a chemist. Chemistry is not something that is very flexible. Right. I couldn't have gone to my employer and said, you know what? I'd really like to only work 30 hours a week. Can we do that in 3 10-hour days and call it good? That wasn't an option. The kids are in school. We couldn't spend more time with them because they're involved in school. So how do we spend more time with each other and with our kids? And we said, we just can't do that within the confines of our quote unquote normal life. We have to do something different.
Now, why is Bali in my mind?
That was our first stop.
That was your first stop? I saw something online. It must have been on your Facebook page or something. Okay.
Yeah, that was our first stop.
Okay. Where did you begin? Where was home once upon a time?
Home was Lawrence, Kansas.
Lawrence, Kansas?
Home of the Jayhawks.
Oh, my goodness. Do you know Millicent Williams? I'm kidding. I made that up. You guys know I always do that. People are like, you know her. ADHD, I love you. Okay. So, you're from Kansas. So you leave Kansas, Dorothy, and you say, let's go. And you guys go to Bali. How do you choose? I have a feeling it's pretty exciting how you choose. Let's hear about it. How do you choose where you're going next?
That's the fun part. Bali was set, actually. Bali was our kickoff date because there was a conference for families that travel. And we said, oh my gosh, we're not alone. We have to meet these people. And so that conference,
this is a thing
around the world.
This is a thing.
Yes, there are other families that travel.
Is there an official name for families to do this? We
are world schoolers, most people would call us.
World schoolers.
Right. So like homeschooling, but world schooling because we move our kids around the world and they learn in different locations.
Wow. So, okay, how do you choose what's next? Like, do you know you just got to Guatemala and you'll be there? Do you know how long?
We'll actually probably be in Guatemala longer than most places. We will probably do what we call a visa run. So leave the country and come back in because we are actually creating a business here, a brick and mortar business for families that travel and also for retreats for people that are really interested in embracing change and learning how to go about tackling change in their own lives to create a life that they love and that lights them up and inspires them to enjoy. So
you're
we're
going to be
building
there longer than usual. So
yes.
Tell us how you guys decide. Yeah, how do you guys decide where you're going? Stick a pin in a map?
We try not to take too many really long distance flights. They're tiring. They're more expensive. So, for instance, we were in Vietnam for 18 months during the pandemic. It was amazing, incredible. And Vietnam said, we're not going to renew your visa any longer. So we said, where can we go? At that point, it was July of 21. There weren't a whole lot of options out there for us because there were a lot of COVID restrictions. So we said, where can we go? Mexico was open. So great, let's go to Mexico. So we spent some time in Mexico and we said, where do we want to go next? And it's really kind of a family decision. We look around and we're like, oh, you know what? Guatemala is just south of Mexico. Never been to Guatemala. Have no idea what's there.
Oh,
do some research. Say, let's go to Guatemala.
Okay, let's go here. Because I know, I had no idea because, I came out of foster care, so I hadn't traveled a lot, even though I was up with people, but I had the Mexico tour. So, and then Canada, and both of those touched the United States. So until last year when I went on tour in Romania, I had never really been anywhere that was like not touching the United States. And one of the things, the State Department was working with us. So one of the things that I had never thought about, inoculations in certain places, things to look out for. If there's some kind of conflict, there was protest in Romania the day we got there, right in front of our hotel. All these people were marching, and there were, people with guns and stuff. Right. So how do you go about gathering intel to make sure that where you're headed is safe for your family? How did you learn to maneuver this? Is this part of that group you met, or you do it on your own, or is there a site? How do you do that?
This is my secret weapon, my husband. He is a researcher, and he believes in really getting to the point of truth. So we're started planning.
So you guys must never watch the news.
Oh no.
I was gonna say, if you're trying to get to the truth, don't go there. Right.
No, absolutely not. We're planning to go from Vietnam to Mexico, and my mother, I love her to death, but she's a worrier by nature, and she was terrified. Think about it. We're going from a communist country to Mexico, which touches the US, but she was terrified because she'd heard all of these stories from the news about Mexico, right? And how dangerous it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so my husband's like, all right, here we go. Starts Googling around, finding the State Department, looking at statistics. I mean, literally, you can pull up statistics of how many people have been killed, how many Americans have been killed, how many Americans have visited. And the statistics in Mexico was like laughable. I'm like, I was way more in danger where I grew up in Detroit than
I'm from Michigan too.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was way more in danger in Detroit than I was going to Mexico. So we do the research and say, you know what, is it safe here? And there are definitely places we're not going. Venezuela looks amazing. There is some incredible scenery that I am dying to see there. But there is so much political unrest. There is no way in heck that I am endangering.
Got that right.
Myself
Jose
or
was
my
here.
family.
Our friend Jose was here about 6 months ago, and he had just came back like last year, this time, released went there for a meeting for Citgo, and he's part of the Citgo 6 or Citgo 7, I think. And they were there 5 years. They were prisoners. He's from Texas. Yeah, 5 years. So you're right. Venezuela. Absolutely right. He's got dual citizenship on top of it. So, what are you can you tell us about a little bit more about what this brick and mortar thing you guys are doing in Mexico? So I figure you stay in touch with a lot of these families that you cross in your travels and pick up tips and connections. Here, I got a connection there, or whatever. Why do families end up doing this, Karen? What are they searching for?
There's a lot of different reasons. Some of it is connection, like my husband and I, just looking to connect and looking for excitement about life. When you find yourself just stuck in the same routine, it's difficult to find that spark, to do something that lights you up. And we found ourselves just holding on, anticipating those vacations.
Yeah.
And Americans have one of the least, some of the least amount of vacation days of any country around the world. And so we find ourselves like really just holding out for like, okay, another 2 months and we'll be able to go here. And we're excited about that. And so we were looking for that excitement. We were looking for that connection with each other. But we had always dreamed of traveling, thinking we'd have to do that when we were retired. We said, okay, let's find a different way to do this. Let's make this happen. But other families, some of them want to share the world with their kids. That's a motivating factor. Or they say, you know what, this traditional schooling doesn't work for my child.
Yeah.
Let's do something different. And let's not just stay in Lawrence, Kansas or Minneapolis. Let's go explore, because maybe there's nothing that really is holding them there.
Well, okay. But here's what I'm thinking about. You got two children, one's 12 and one's 17. Let's go to the 17-year-old. He's a boy. A young man. What about if say you're in Guatemala and he finds a girlfriend or something, and I'm talking about their social life. Social life, I didn't realize how important it was for kids until COVID, and it was just devastating for them. So I'm wondering, what's it like for the kids to every 90 days or so, they have to leave the friends they've made and make new friends? And what if they've found a little boyfriend or girlfriend? They're in that age range. It could be heartbreaking. Have you dealt with that? Or how is that for kids?
Yeah, that's a great question, because it is one of the reasons we're actually building the brick and mortar place, so that we can have those connections with other families that travel, and they can find those connections with other kids. But we definitely do see that. Our son had, the last time we were in Guatemala, made a connection with a young lady. They kept in touch online, and eventually they decided, probably at the right time, that they were going to remain friends and just do their things. We encourage a lot of online connections, because those are very much easier to maintain as we travel.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one family, we've connected with them 4 times in different countries. And it's just fun to get back together with them and make those connections again, learn what they've been doing, they learn what we've been doing, share all of that.
So you never had that experience where, or talk to a family that I'm sure someone has, where one of their kids fell in love and said, I'm not leaving. Go on without me. I'm done. I'm not going to I'm staying right here.
We haven't experienced that. Our son's 17. He's got an American girlfriend at the time. They've actually never met in person. We're hoping to encourage her and her mother to come visit us in Guatemala and, allow them to meet. But eventually, yes, it's going to happen. And it was one of the questions, actually, my husband and I discussed before we ever left the States, before we ever decided to do this.
I would imagine you'd have to.
Like, what if our children end up marrying people on different continents? Because you grow up in the States, you assume that you raise your children there, you assume your children are going to marry somebody from the States, right? And maybe they'll move across the country. You're in Michigan, maybe they'll move to California, but you're a couple hour flight away. And that was the assumption. But then you're like, oh, we're going to take these kids around the world. They could literally meet people from different continents who don't speak English and get married. And we said, what would we do? We said, that sounds kind of crazy. What would we do? And we said, well, we'd just travel to where they're at. And we wouldn't be in their lives 24/7, 365. but we would make it a point to travel to where they were at if they decide to settle down.
Now, and then now now I'm thinking about, what about like health benefits and things? Like what if you need some type of surgery, or God forbid, some kind of something that, and you travel, you have insurance, but what if they say, oh, so you're not covered in Guatemala? You better bring your butt back to the States, or whatever. I mean, there seems to be, so when you just sit and go, and that's why I'm bringing these things up, not to discourage people, but so you can speak to it, so they can see, it sounds like a lot of hoops, but it is doable. So what about that thing? The safety of the health and everything of the families, and you know what I mean? And you get sick somewhere, and, don't drink the water, and things you don't know about. Oh my God, there's scorpions in the yard. Or, but people that live there know these things. But how do you get completely indoctrinated enough that you aren't panicky all the time? I don't know how you do it.
It comes with practice, for sure. Our first trip, I was like you, Dr. Lord. I had never left North America. I'd been to Canada and I'd been to Mexico. That was it. Our first trip is Bali, literally halfway around the world. And it was a different world. But you get used to change. You get used to different things. Like, I used to think, oh, I have to have this pillow. This pillow is the one that I can sleep on. I'll tell you, I can sleep on any pillow. Now, I can sleep on a bed. I've slept on hard as a rock beds. I've slept on beds that slope into the middle, and I'm wind up, on top of my husband. And it doesn't matter. You just get used to it. But in regard to health insurance, there is actually traveler's health insurance. It is designed for people who travel.
Wow. I didn't know that. I bet it's an arm and a leg.
Not terribly good within the U.S. You have a minimum amount of time, and you can't travel to the U.S. for healthcare. So if you're in the States and you have an accident, something happens, you get it taken care of and it's covered. But it's predominantly used for people that travel, and it's not crazy expensive because healthcare in most countries is ridiculously less expensive than in the U.S.
So what about vaccines and things like that? How do you stay current?
They're available. You just make an appointment, go in.
Do they have things they recommend for certain areas of the world? Like, you go in there, you better get a typhoid fever shot, if there's such a thing, or malaria, shingles. You see what I'm saying? So have you had to get inoculation?
We have not.
You haven't.
We did some before we left, just to kind of be overly cautious. But in reality, we have not traveled to Africa, where I know there are a lot more of those recommendations. It's on our list to go. We haven't made it there yet. So when we get closer to that, yes, we'll be doing definitely our research, what's recommended, where can we get them, and we'll make sure that we have those before we leave. But reality is, it's just a little bit different way of thinking about things.
What about the food and meals, and what's it like around the family table from country to country? Do you have to master how to cook all their foods and stuff, or you try to stay Americanized, or how's that? I bet I would love that challenge, learning the culture and the food of the place you're in.
It can be very interesting. Trips to grocery stores can vary completely to where there are a lot of foods that we're familiar with, or not very many, just depending on where we're at. Interestingly, about 2.5 years ago, we all decided to go vegan as a family. Family decision. We've done some research, watching some documentaries. We all said, you know what, we're going to do this. We're going to try this. And 2.5 years later, we are not strict, oh, I never eat an animal product, but it is 99% of what we eat is vegan. And so around our table, we try different things, different recipes. We go to different restaurants that offer vegan options. I'm going to be embarrassed, and I'll say this. We had never had Indian food until about 1.5 years ago. And we had it. And now I'm like dying to learn how to cook authentic Indian food, because it's incredible. And Indian food often has vegetarian or vegan options, which is attractive to us.
So what are you learning about yourself since you made this this premiere voyage to Bali, and how long ago was the original trip?
5 years ago.
5 years ago. So it's been straight 5 years of continual moving around. What have you learned about yourself, Karen? And what have you learned about your family members? What have you seen that you could have never hoped to see had you not taken on this nomadic lifestyle?
What haven't I learned about myself? I feel like it's just been a continuous journey of self-awareness, of just exploration of things. I came from a chemistry background, and I never would have even considered alternative medicine or energy healing. And yet I found myself reaching out to a healer who really solved my problem. And that was because I was traveling. Had I been stuck in the chemistry lab, no way. I'd have gone to the doctor. I'd have gone to the physical therapist. I'd have worked through months and months of physical therapy to correct the issue. And instead I reached out to an energy healer that I never would have touched. I would have been like, oh, that's woo-woo. And because of opening up to different experiences, different ideas, I was able to bring that in, and I was healed. I literally couldn't brush my hair because of pain in my shoulder. And I reached out and it was healed. And how do you can't put a price on that, on how just being open changes your life.
So have you learned things like, I know you must immerse yourself inside the culture of where you find yourself living. That's why you're doing this. So, you know, somebody gets stung by a bee or whatever, and then this person, oh, no, come here. I know an old lady who has a poultice and things like that. I mean, have you learned that there are a lot of options out there, holistic options, that if only we knew here in the commercial USA, where everything is over the counter and propaganda based and fear based and all these other things, it's true. Control factor, collars. They serve as collars to keep us. It's Absolutely. You know, the old foot on the neck. It really is. Has it shocked you how much is available out there holistically that people in other places use on an everyday basis without blinking an eye that we have no clue to? That's what I've heard from people. Talk about that if you could for a minute. Talk about that.
Sure. There's so much out there. There's so much different knowledge. My husband and I used the term the American bubble, where when you're in the States, you think that that's everyone. You think everyone lives the same as you do. You think everyone thinks the same as you do, even if there's differences of opinion. But that's just the norm, and everyone's supposed to be like that. And you get outside of the States and you're like, wow, the knowledge base is different. The foods, you know, you brought food up. Like, we were exposed to so many different plant-based proteins while we were in Peru that I don't even know if you can get them in the States.
Yeah.
And it's the same with medicines. Like, there's so many different options out there that are just downplayed or kept out of the US.
So you've learned a lot. Do you keep a journal?
I wish I did.
Oh, girl.
I had this beautiful idea. Like, we were going to have a family journal, and I started it. We spent our first month actually traveling in the States, and we wrote together, and it was this beautiful thing. And then we left the States, and we were just like inundated with all of these experiences and amazing things. And we just got so caught up in the excitement of it that journaling just kind of fell to the wayside. Ooh. And so we've tried, like, I know it's terrible, right? Like, it should be there to capture all of these.
Well, you're vlogging. I bet you're vlogging video.
My husband and son are really into video, and so they take a lot of video.
Okay.
The idea is to put them together on a regular basis, and it doesn't happen quite as regularly as we would like, just because of life. You know, we find ourselves living rather than sitting all the time.
I should do a show. Seriously. I mean, every day is an adventure. You know what I mean? I mean, you're there. We could live vicariously through your travels. For those of us who, for whatever reasons, can't do what you do. You should think about that. I bet you get all kinds of sponsors and stuff. Seriously.
It's a good idea. Honestly,
I mean,
it
because
really
you're
is.
doing it. All you gotta do is take little captions and stuff and squeeze it all together, come live once a week and say, here's what happened Tuesday when we went fishing. And the fish were bigger than we were. No, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever. I would be like, oh my God, what are they doing now? Think about that. It could be something, Miss Karen. It really could. So let's go here. I want to ask about instinct, because no matter how much intel or how much advanced knowledge we try to gather about certain things, no matter where we go, and a lot of people won't travel to unknown places due to some fear of not knowing anything. I can't do that. I'm not strong enough. I don't speak the language, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how to do the money. So how much do you, as a mother, rely on instinct? When you get there and say your son comes in, hey, this is my new buddy, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden you go, because tourists can be preyed upon. There's trafficking and all kinds of things around the world. They don't all look the same. How do you deal with, how much instinct, Mom, do you have to use on a day-to-day basis?
Not as much as you might think.
Really?
There definitely are people out there, but my mindset, my husband's mindset is the vast majority of people are good. They have good intentions. We have met some of the most welcoming people in some of the craziest situations. Literally invited to sit down in the middle of nowhere, Vietnam, with a garage. It's a strange place, space, essentially an open garage full of guys. And my husband, this is instinct here. Like, my husband's like, you guys stay here. I'm going to go see. We spoke no Vietnamese. They spoke no English. We did Google Translate. We had the most incredible experience with these guys and their wives who were there, just not sitting there drinking with them. All they wanted to do was see if we liked Vietnam. They wanted to make sure that we loved their country, and they were welcoming us into their home. And so instinctually, you're like, that's not really safe. Here's a bunch of strangers. We're in the middle of nowhere. We don't speak the language. Heck, the cell phone might not even work because we're so far in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And we find ourselves in this situation where these people are just so amazingly welcoming and don't want anything from us except to share our company.
Wow, that's beautiful. And it's so nice to hear something positive. We automatically go into so many situations with a raised eyebrow of suspicion that we scare ourselves out of opportunities of a lifetime. And not just fond memories, divine memories, those ones. And I always figure, like, if there's only a handful that I'll be able to take with me, I want to make sure that my memories are not fond memories. They are divine memories. So I get it. I really get it. Now, I want to share. Here we go. Let's take a look, you guys. This is a little thing about the family on the move.
What in the world is elephants on the move? Or maybe, who are elephants on the move? We are a family of 4, and we were living the normal American life. Wake up and go to work, and make sure the kids had lunch to take to school. Come home and have dinner, then watch TV or go for a walk. Kids playing outside. The usual. We had the house, the cars, the vacations. But after several surprise job losses, along with several real estate investments gone wrong, we felt beat up by the American grind. We were looking for our dream life without missing our kids along the way, let alone missing each other. We wanted something more. What we came up with? Ditch everything and travel the world together as a family right now. An impossible dream, a fairy tale really, because we had one big problem. We were one wrong word away from divorce. We were living paycheck to paycheck, stressed financially to the max, with no savings of any kind, no house to sell, just paying the bills. What happened next? We started to figure out how to open our hearts. Our goal was to fight through this together, to find our way back, to enjoy each other and our kids together. We made a decision. Within a year of making that breakthrough, we donated, gave away, and sold nearly everything we owned. We packed some clothes and bare necessities, took our kids out of school, quit the job that paid the bills, said goodbye to friends and family, and coworkers. We started with an epic road trip across America. And then boarded a plane with one-way tickets to travel the world. Together, as a family. And now we're a full-time WTF, world traveling family. We've been on the road for over 3 years now, and this is what our lives look like. Come join us on our journey. Hit the subscribe button and follow along. As we experience different cultures together, explore the natural beauty of the world around us, and truly live life on our terms.
Oh, you're on mute. Oh, mute again.
It's coming. There you go. Does it shock you when you see that about how much you have actually packed into those years that you've lived like this? Because it's like, what, just that montage there, some people don't even get a fraction of that in an entire lifetime.
Yeah, we have what we call pinch me moments, where we're actually in the moment and we look around and we're like, are we really here?
Right.
Are we really experiencing this? And it just, wow, it makes you think, yeah, this is our life. And
Yeah.
it makes me eternally grateful. Like every day I wake up grateful for the life that we're living.
I think it's brilliant. And I think your kids, I just can't even imagine how full they are. How vast their dreams must be. Because, every time you see something, for instance, we were in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, over the 4th, my birthday, 4th of July. And the Grand Tetons and Yellowstone, the majesticness, the majesty, it was just like, I felt in 10 minutes what it took me a week of regular vacation to feel what I got in 15, 20 minutes of being there. The way it just zapped me, What would you say is your grandest awe-struck moment of your travels where you go, when you looked, you went, can I really be looking at what I'm looking at? Is this, if you had one place that you visited that you would tell people to go to, what would that one place be?
Oh, do you know how difficult that question is?
I know, but find an answer.
Oh man, I'm scrambling. There's so many
must be
that
a
I would
standout.
choose. There's so many that are standouts, but one that sticks in my mind is the Galapagos Islands off the coast of Ecuador.
Isn't that the turtles?
Giant sea turtles.
Yeah.
We also got to swim. So we literally walked off the beach, swam with giant sea turtles. We also got to swim with sea lions and marine iguanas, and just in the most epic, beautiful, untouched location, because the government there has been very, very adamant about not developing the islands very much. So 95% or 98% of the islands are national parks and are not able to be developed. So probably that one was top of my list to travel to. I had wanted to go to the Galapagos for a couple of decades before we got there. And we got there and it was like everything that I had imagined.
Wow. Thank you for that. What about a standout meal? You know,
Oh.
where you tried something, you thought, I'm probably not going to like this, and then you were pleasantly shocked at how good it was.
I literally cannot nail that down because we started dabbling in veganism back in Vietnam. So before we transitioned, and we would literally go to this little hole in the wall restaurant. It wasn't even a restaurant. It was like tables on the sidewalk in a little alley kitchen that this gal worked out of. And we'd sit there and we'd eat things and we'd say, we have no idea what we're eating here, but it's delicious. And
Is it better
it was
sometimes not to know, you think?
well, we felt really good because our first meal in Vietnam, we'd gotten some mystery meat, and we're like, "Oh, no, this is too scary. We have no
Oh,
idea what this is."
yes, I had that once, and I forget. Oh, in Romania, I thought it was a Chinese place because I was looking in the window while they were making it. And then when I got the soup or whatever to my room, there were things I was like, what kind of egg is that? That's shaped like a golf ball, completely round, and it was floating out.
Yeah.
Okay.
we had that, and so we're like, you know what, this vegan thing is not so bad because you know that everything you're eating came from a plant.
Yes.
And
Wow.
so we're much more open than to trying things because we know we're not going to be eating, scorpion or dog or any other random animal.
What about the time zone changes? Does it take a lot to and last question about this thing, and then I want to make sure you tell people about Inspire My Dreams and the other places they can go for your work. But that question, and what about grandma and family members that are missing the kids growing up? Because they're always like, my grandkids probably, do you FaceTime to make up? How does that work? You got some pissed off people in the family that they didn't get hands-on time with you guys?
Oh, you hit the nail on the head right there. They are not happy that we travel. They are not happy that we are not living a normal. I shouldn't say not happy. They haven't embraced that this is what we're doing.
How can you be so selfish? Right.
No, but we were living in Kansas, and grandparents were in Detroit and Las Vegas. So we did not see them regularly anyways. We were talking once or twice a year. And so, yes, we do phone calls, we do video calls, we Zoom, things like that. And then we have been back to the States a couple of times. Kids have been back twice in 2 years so that we can see family.
To check
so that
in.
We can spend time with the grandparents.
Yeah, because everybody's getting older and whatnot. Holidays, Christmas, do you guys celebrate it no matter where you are in the world, or do you go with what the locals are doing on that day?
We like to be part of what the locals do just because it's fun to experience their culture, their celebrations, but we definitely do Christmas on our own, and it's a beautiful thing because
I bet
we just decided, we can't be giving gifts, which is what we were used to because we travel. So everything we give, you have to take with you. So we started a tradition of actually making cards for each other. And it's awesome. The most beautiful thing. We spend about several days just making cards, and it's like, okay, I'm going to be in this room. You can't come in here because I'm working on my card. And they're just very thoughtful, meaningful. And I thought, we'll just take pictures of them and then we'll throw them out. No, we take pictures of them and then we send them to my parents
to keep
them in the basement.
Oh, I think that's a beautiful thing. Better than journaling in a way. That's awesome. And last thing, Inspire My Dreams. And when people head over to, it's scrolling currently, everybody, at the bottom of your screen. That is the website, inspiremydreams.com. Tell them what they'll find when they get there, Karen.
Absolutely. This is really for people who want change in their life, but feel like they're just stuck. They can't get out of it. So if you want to be inspired to go do something crazy like travel around the world, or do something that's maybe not so crazy, change up your life in a positive way, that's really for you. There are steps in there that you can follow, lots of things where you can share your dream just with the universe, putting it out there, taking that first step to making a positive change in your life.
Perfect. And the KarenYates.com, what's over there?
That is for people that are interested in having me speak to their audience.
Okay.
Inspire them, get them moving towards great things.
Sounds great. Listen, Hey, you guys, there's also LinkedIn if you want to go over and check out even further what's going on with Karen Yates, the Karen Yates at any given point. So there's 3 roads. Take your pick or take them all. Just get there when you can. Listen, Karen, I want to thank you for coming in today and pouring in to us in a way that not many people have the opportunity to do, because so many of us do remain stuck where we're at. But thank God there's people like you guys who get out there and do the traveling and the sightseeing for us. So thank you for that. You're welcome back anytime. Wonderful work you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's
Of
wonderful
course.
being here.
Of course. And for all of you out there, listen, get out today and find just a little piece of your higher self. You just need 1 E and 1 R. Take bright to brighter, kind to kinder, nice to nicer, bold to bolder. You'll be glad you did. And listen, God willing, I'll meet you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time right over there on the front porch, where together we can have yet another illuminated conversation. Now, as always, don't slam my door on the way out. And remember, Dr. Lauren loves you, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Have your best day ever. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Bye, Karen. Great job. Great job.
Thanks.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spend